Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox Chair, on the show this evening is Port Bear, Juicy Bear, and the Bridgeman. Evening, boys.
Evening, Ox, evening, Juicy. Bridge, how you doing?
Good evening, everyone. Great to be back as always. Finally, football has returned. Real football.
Good evening to everyone. Looking forward to tonight's show. Good evening to Oxshare and the techie guys in the background, and to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Right, Juicy's going to give his thoughts on the international break, and then I think we'll go right to the tune bridge, because it might be about 9 o'clock by the time he's finished. What do you think, Port?
Aye, just let Juicy crack on, mate. I think he's got a lot to say in regards to international football.
Right, Juicy, we're always here to try and get David a bit of counselling, mate, so get it off your chest, mate, and then we'll start talking. Go on then, Juicy boy.
Well, it's just horrendous, isn't it, Ox? And thank you for giving me the platform. And, I'm not here to speak ill of anyone else who enjoys a little bit of international football, whoever their team is. But on a personal note, it's just not for me. And it's such a long period of time. And when you know that Rangers have got so many matches in December in such a short period of time, and then we have a three-week break in January, it just doesn't make too much sense to me. I'm all for playing the internationals in June at the end of the season. It would be a great job for an international manager because you would only work for 1 month of the year. But I'd have them all then. And if you're a big fan of international football, like a little tournament, you could enjoy it all at the end of the season. And that would be that. And I'm a club guy. I always have been. And unfortunately, the way we've been treated by the Scottish National Association, I'm not really a fan of anything that they put out. And I just hope our players come back safe. I'm sure most Rangers fans would agree with me on that one, Ox. But it's felt like a long time, this one. We're almost there. And we can look forward to Sunday at last.
There you go. You feel better now?
I do. Thank you.
No problem, mate. You're welcome. How are you, Port?
Aye, I'm good, mate. I'm all good. Like Juicy, I've just been bored at my skull. Obviously, no decent football on. You all know on this show that I'm not a big fan of international football. I like the big tournaments like the Euros and the World Cup. Don't mind watching them. But I hate qualifier football. It's just boring to me. And especially with going to just back on what Juicy say, I think there's been a lot of, meaningless matches because a lot of teams have qualified already and stuff. And some of the players were away on national duty that probably didn't need to be. It'd been great to see them, remain with one manager. Come on, it was training ground and further advance the team. I think that's only my focus is Glasgow Rangers, and I think I get why some of them go international for recognition and stuff, Oxford, but when the team's qualified and stuff, do we really need to be sending some of our players away when they don't need to be away necessarily? You know what I mean? So I'll back Juicy on the international football stuff.
All right. Bridgeman, we get it, and it could be a whole show on its own, but have you missed the manager?
Yes.
I've
missed everything about what the manager's going to do, what he's going to say, and that's what I missed. And obviously seeing the team, irrespective of what match it is, missed seeing the team and the manager at the area. It's been a hard 2 weeks. I must admit, it's been a hard 2 weeks, but I must admit it's been a bit lighter this week in a sense. So after yesterday, with that team across the city having a AGM and actually talking about Rangers, I just cannot believe it. It's amazing. It's just amazing. But
the Rangers show talking about them.
No, I'm talking about Rangers. It just lightened the atmosphere up when I was listening to it. Incredible, just incredible.
Aye, Port Bear. The team's moving. The new manager's sprinkling his dust. We've got a sense of optimism. People are really happy the way it's gone. But It's all about keeping it going. Results, results, results. You know, and it starts Sunday, mate.
It starts on Sunday, mate, and it's a 12-game run we're looking for here. A 12-game run, in my opinion, that could define our season. And in that 12-game run up to January, Ox, there's also players playing for their future, in my opinion, at Rangers. There's still players.
I'm greedy, Port. I'd take 11 wins and a draw.
Aye, I would take that, mate. I'm not greedy. I'm not greedy.
Any way you want. Any way you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I say, there's some players there that are, in my opinion, are playing for their futures beyond January as well, because I think it's been documented that he might want to bring might want to bring players in. But to do that, I think some players might need to go, mate.
Any names? Give some names, mate, before I go to Juicy.
I think the big two, and I'm going to throw a wild card in there, mate. The big two for me is probably still Lammers and Dessers, the main names. But there's a lot of stuff in the press as well, mate. And Todd Cantwell, a guy that we could get money for. Has he got a future under Clement? This is a question I keep seeing popping up, and it's been popping up over this last 14 days of the international break as well. So, but there's money available for him.
That's not very sites. I've told you about that before. By the way, that's a big question. Lammers and Dessers, we wish them well, but who's going to come in bid £40 million for they two, Juicy?
Well, we've made a financial loss on them, haven't we? And that's unfortunately the reality of it. If they stay and they improve, and they're really going to have to improve, as Port has alluded to, for the manager, I think, to keep them beyond the summer. And if they go, unfortunately, we will make a loss. And that's how it works in football when players
I predict there's absolutely no chance of any of the two leaving our club in January. And there'll be no chance of any of the two of them moving because their wages will be too good compared to what they'll get elsewhere. That's my theory, you see.
Then they need to start playing, my friend. There's some level of ability there, but it needs to become more consistent. And they'll get an opportunity. And he'll have seen them over the last couple of weeks in training. And, we wish them all the best, but there's still a chance. It's not over for them. But in addition to those two, there's also players that maybe we've not seen a lot of. You think they're playing for their futures. Cifuentes, other players that perhaps haven't featured as much. It's going to be big for Matondo. He was playing quite well before he got injured. He's now going to have to start again. Dowell is going to have to try to make an impact. So there are players playing for their future, because a few months ago, most of these players were on the floor in terms of form. And they're still, for me, got a lot to prove.
Yeah, I think that was the point all Davey was trying to make last night. He wasn't trying to curb Stevie and Southside's enthusiasm. Portbury, he was just trying to say, we've been here before, just hopefully it keeps going. He wasn't trying to say we haven't improved, but once forward doesn't make a summer, mate, does it?
No, it does not. It does not. And I think we could also throw another name on the hat as well, Yilmaz. I think it was you touched on it, the left back position the last time I was on the show. When we obviously Born into last year's contract. So in fact January getting the last 6 months, I'm sure. The left back position is, ropey at the moment. And Yilmaz is well thought of in Turkey, so I dare say there's money that we could get back on him. He's there for position, and he's a player that I think Clement maybe we still want to look at because he's not seen much of him. But I think we have to remain very positive. I mean, I'm still positive because of obviously what we saw Clement achieve in that first lot of games that he took charge of. Day defeats, looked strong, changed players' fortunes round. And if he keeps doing that over the next 12 games next year, and it keeps going that trajectory, I think we'll be in a very good place, mate.
Right, yeah. Princeman, Portman mentioned Yilmaz there. He is one. I wouldn't be surprised that maybe left the club in January. Wouldn't it be a total shock with it?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I've commented. The guy looks quite tidy sometimes, but in reality, the physicality isn't there for him. And the way that the teams are playing against us that are very physical against us, and you see he gets found out. He's under the ball. You know the old saying, "You're caught under the ball." There's not much he can do because there's no way he's going to, from a standing, as a defensive person, and from a stand, he's going to be able to jump up and leap up 6 feet or something like. It's not going to happen. So there are weaknesses in his game, and maybe the manager must try and move him on. To get something back from him.
Yeah, he's still got pedigree, Juicy. He's still in the Turkish squad, so if I'm being honest, if he could break even, maybe it wouldn't be a disaster, would it?
No, it wouldn't be. And it's clearly got a level of talent there, and we've seen bits of it, haven't we? We've seen moments, but that's all we've seen so far is just moments, and that's been what it's like with a lot of this current squad, is really stop and start, injuries, not getting selected, all of these things. And you want players to be given that opportunity to get a run, but he's never been able to. I just think next couple of months is obviously massive, but regardless of how we do as a team, are the individual players going to be performing to the max? And that's what you want to see. You just want to see the effort and the performances and the fitness. We've got to get a good level of fitness in this team now, Ox.
I don't think there'll be an issue with a new manager. I can't put my finger on what went wrong, Port, but something went wrong.
I totally agree, mate. I think I still sit, even now, and I sit and wonder why the wheels need to come off the bogey with the squad under Beale, mate. Obviously, we've all said things like, they stopped playing for him, he lost his dressing room, and that, looking from the outside in, that does look what happened, but it doesn't explain, and it's been documented. He's never admitted it, has he, Clement? But the fitness was definitely a problem last year. And you could see under the 7 games he just completed there, the team was getting fitter. Go to the 5th game, the 6th game, the 7th game, the team looked stronger, fitter, more physical. They were pressing higher again, they were, challenging, they were winning, the ball retention was a lot quicker. They looked better at the back as well, they looked more solid. Defensively, the shape was a lot better because we couldn't understand. Loads of times on the show we discussed it, we couldn't understand the shape they were playing and what they were trying to achieve. And that could only be down to they've switched after manager option, they weren't listening to instruction anymore. And that happens, it's something that's not a negative thing. People just need a new voice in a dressing room, whether it be a different captain, whether it be a different manager, just to give you that spark again and get you firing again. And I think that's what Clement's done so far. I don't think he's changed too much tactically. He's made a few tweaks here and there, but he's not put his full stamp on this team yet, and that's what excites me.
Do you say some people just switch off sometimes? Is that what you're saying?
Sometimes.
What did you say there, Port? Oh, good points, mate. Good points. Bridgeman, you've always been a guy who's on about fitness, and it's November. The games were played and all the equipment, facilities, the way they're treated. There's no excuse for professionals not being at the peak of their possible powers, is there?
Yeah, of course there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. However, there's a number of players in our squad who, when they joined, they never got a set of pre-season training. Just never got it. So whatever fitness they had, they're living off it. And of course, whatever they pick up. And it could take quite a long time for people to get their full fitness. But on top of that, they've got the match fitness stuff, the eyeball coordination. It doesn't come automatically. It just doesn't happen like that. It's a build up. That's why you get a pre-season training for maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and then everything else hangs on at the end of that. And during that time, everything will come in. All the stupid games you play against each other and all that comes in. I look at that boy Dessers, and I have to say, and I'm not alone. Of course, I'm not alone. The people wondering why the ball continuously doesn't hit his foot right. Bouncing off his leg, his ankle, that kind of why? Why at this time you're nearly at Christmas? Why is it got any natural fitness from that perspective?
I've got a theory on that, Bridge.
Go on then.
I just don't think he's very good.
Oh well, of course, that's the only thing you could actually end up thinking, because there's nothing. They're naturally not 100% as fit or as fast, should I say, as a lot of the other members of the squad. He doesn't have the pace. I don't even know if he's got a natural pace, and he's just lacking a yard or two. He's lacking a yard or two because he doesn't have it. He's never going to have it by the sound of it and look. So to put him at the front end, at the top end of our club, at the present moment, it might have to be a reality, and he may have to do it. But seriously, guys, you can't have people up the top end and you're trying to score goals, and if they can't get to the ball. So many times that guy hasn't got to the ball. He's a yard out, And
he's looked slow at times,
Yeah.
I know. I don't want to turn it into a Dessers and Lammers pattern, but obviously we've talked to my death. But there's going to be changes, Juicy, and what they are. Hopefully Philip Clement will be calling the shots. If there's anybody he wants to keep, he can sit down with him, and the people he wants to get away and bring people in. I want to mould into his team and hopefully a better team, Juicy. Yeah?
And new managers will always do that, Ox. We were all thinking before he came in that whoever the new manager was going to be was going to have to completely clear out the squad. Now, that might not be totally necessary. It might not be needing perhaps as big a clear out as we first thought, because we had a used car salesman managing the team. Some of us were a little bit deluded in terms of how good or how poor some of the players were. But the new guy, Mr. Clement, he surely, as we've seen, can bring the best out of some of these players. And it might not need as big a restructure, but he's definitely going to bring in some of his own players. Every manager always does. So we'll see quite a bit of movement again in the summer. Possibly not so much in January, because like you said, it's going to be hard to move players on. But hopefully he doesn't have to change crazy amount of players. But if they're not cutting the mustard, this guy is not going to tolerate that. Every player for me is playing for their future, and that includes the older statesmen like a Tav and a Goldson. They've got to continue to do the business.
I don't know if you picked up the day, Port, that it's been reported that Tillman is going to go to PSV Eindhoven and the deal will be complete, and it's a £12 million signing. Gets us an extra 1.2 million. I know that's not a lot of money a year, Bridge, but it is to us. So, I'll ask you a question. Fox has put this out there. Who would you rather have, Tillman or Cantwell?
I'm going to still say Todd Cantwell, mate, and I'm going to tell you my reasons. In a lot of the big games, Tillman went missing. For me, he was a luxury player. I know Todd Cantwell was seen as that when we signed him, but what Tillman never showed was spirit and team effort. He never individually. He'd done some fantastic things with it, and scored some cracking goals, some wonderful assists, etc. But Todd Cantwell was an important part of your cog for your team. And although he's been playing the position, I've not seen the best of him, I don't think, under Clement. But my answer would be Todd Cantwell, mate, because I think he's a mere team player.
Same question to your good self, Bridge, and then Juicy before we get these phone lines open.
But based on the way the Tillman finished the season for us in his last season there, I think a lot of the fans would say get Tillman back in. But Tillman was a great player for us, blah, blah, blah. His contribution was tremendous. And it is, I think, but at the same time, the same guys will be saying that he can't, when he's on form, you can't get him out of the team. But actually, our manager doesn't seem to be wanting to play him all the time. And we want to see him all the time, So it's actually quite a tricky question there. I would say that Tillman. I would like to see Tillman playing for Rangers if we could sign him with the £20 million or whatever. And I think it'd be a tremendous buy for us. But we don't have the money. We just don't have the money. So I think we better just forget it. But that player, I would rather have that player right at this moment. And I'm a big fan of Cantwell.
Now, same question to Juicy Bell.
So it's interesting with both these players, Ox. Both of them repeatedly played out of position. So I didn't think you were always seeing the best of Tillman. We talk about him going missing in certain games. Supposed to be playing behind the striker in a number 10. We repeatedly saw him out wide on the right, which is what we're now seeing with Cantwell as well. So there's big similarities there, Ox, in terms of how they're both being utilised. I really like Tillman. I think I always knew we were going to get priced out of it. And I also thought we had a lot of number 10s last season. And we still have a lot of number 10s now. So Cantwell's my guy. And I'm sticking with Cantwell. And I know he's a very good player. And he's done it in big matches already, which Tillman didn't. But we've got to utilise this boy in the correct position and the correct formation. We've got to get the best out of him.
All right, I'll come back to that when we get the phone lines open, because that's a great point you make, Juicy. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
I went for the Spanish Philly. Oh, carry on, mate.
So just saying, what's your own thoughts on Tillman and Cantwell?
As we said today, I think Cantwell's a better player of the two. However, Tillman's got more potential because he's got a bit better growth on him, you know what I mean? You know, that's my opinion, that's the way I see it.
Aye.
You know, Tillman scored some great goals, great course control. Didn't have blistering pace. Cantwell's reasonably quick. Does some good things for the ball and is better team player. You know? But the two of them, who's the most likely to get a cheap book and then get sent off? It's never happened, but it looks like Cantwell, yeah?
Aye, yeah.
It's just, listen, we enjoy Tillman, he's not a player, but we're going to get another 1.2 million by the looks of it. So, if somebody's done a good deal there, because you're only looking 2.2 million or something for somebody who isn't a player. Fair enough.
Aye, but we always get slated with players trade knocks, and that's a wee sort of light, and that wee light at the end of the tunnel that somebody done something right in that deal. Definitely, 100%, mate.
You know, I'll be honest with you, I don't want players that don't want to play for us. At any level, you know, a old fashioned when it comes to that port.
You know, definitely.
Interesting to see. So you mentioned Cantwell, Juicy. I'll go to you first and then I'll go to Bridge, then the port. So you mentioned his position, yeah. The Prague game, he was out right. And then he had an excellent game. What's his favourite position for you?
I like him behind the strikers. And as I've said before on the show, I think we've got a number of players in that position. Last season we had Tillman there. This season we've got Cantwell. We've got Lawrence, who seems forever coming back from fitness issues. Hadji, of course, who's on loan. If you actually go back as far as Hadji, under Gio, he was consistently played out on the right as well, Ox. So we've got this thing with players who I consider to be cams in a sort of 10 position being played out wide. You just got to get the best out of him. He's clearly trying to see what players can do in his team. He's still trying to figure it out. But some players can play anywhere, can't they, Ox? We've had some great utility players in the past. But I think Cantwell should be getting involved more. And that's why I want to see him more central.
getting involved there. Sometimes I'd like him to get involved less, just see if that makes sense with the petulance. But I enjoy him, mate.
Yeah.
He's an entertainer, isn't he? You know?
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be a little bit more relaxed over the course of 90 minutes because he's going to get himself suspended here or there this season, and you don't want it to be at times when there's matches coming up where you really need the boy. And he's actually only on a couple of bookings in the league, so it's not quite as bad as some people might think. He's had some European bookings, but
yeah, he booked in the semi-final against Hearts, so it's basically about 5 bookings, but over 3 competitions.
Yeah, like that. I've said this a while ago, much the same as what Juicy just said. You've got to watch, and you said it yourself, he's got to watch what he's doing, because it's not so much the type of fouls and the type of play he's doing, and he gets himself, shall we say, noticed. It's the referees, after a certain number, the referees will just go out to get him. And I believe that sincerely. He has to watch. And one way you can get that to be stopped is that all the players in the team, as soon as there's an issue, they get up there and they pull him away and get in between whomever it is. Just get him away out the way and calm it down, because you can't afford for him to go on and then all of a sudden we fly kicks at the guy as the guy walks past. No. That needs to stop. And yet, how can we get him to we don't want to drain him of any individuality. We want him to go on and be great. But please, don't get involved too much in that nonsense, because all the teams, every team in the league, we've just sent people out 2 or 3 times. We've seen it happening with our players. Just take turns and they just leather you, and that's all there is to it. End up getting sent out.
Anyway, we'll be joined by Bo Star. Evening, Bo Star.
Evening, Oxchair, Bridgeman, Port and Juicy. Good discussion, guys, on that one. Cantwell or Tillman. For me, it'd be Cantwell all day long, simply because I think he's got far more ability. You mentioned a bit, he's got a bit more pace. I think he takes more players on. For me, Tillman was, again, a bit like Cantwell, a wee bit of kind of luxury. But for me, guys, getting back to our manager, I just think for the time that he's had, he's got his feet under the table now. He's had that fortnight with most of our squad. I'm expecting to see a bit more power coming for him now, providing, and it's a big if, providing certain players are up to match fitness the way he wants them. Guys, for me especially, see for me now, this isn't a title race. I don't believe so for a second, right at this moment in time. I don't believe we're in a title race. For me, they're still in front. What I would say is, I don't believe for a second that we're out of it. This next batch of games is a biggie for us and our manager, without a shadow of a doubt. Yes, he's done brilliant since the 6-7 games he's been in. Of course he has. He's got them playing. There's a unity. There certainly seems to be playing as a unit, simply because for me, he's playing most of the guys in their proper positions. And you can laugh at that one when we talk about Cantwell, because he seems to be, we all seem to think he's a number 10, but he doesn't seem to be getting played there. So I still think there's a bit of disjointness there. I'm hoping that period of time that they've had off, that he's got them playing more as a unit. But we'll see come Sunday. I have every confidence that we'll beat them. But as I say, this next batch of games for me is the big telling point, because you've got that final, and you've also got you've got to keep this win rate going right up to when we play them. If it was a possibility, you go to their ground and beat them.
Oh, hopefully both Star will be back. We never dropped him. There is something that isn't. Some good points there. Aye. I get it. Listen, it's still difficult for us, but if we do go on a run and we win, as I said, Port there, if we win 11, draw one of these 12, and the draw, who that's against, I've no said. But if that was the forum up to the Brett to back up Star, then the pressure is mounting on our team, and then there is a genuine challenge coming, mate. Yeah, and we've won the cup, and we're into Europe after Christmas.
Definitely, mate. Since the man Blue Stars, right? Since I touched on it at the very start of the show, I want to just chop off these games in blocks. I think that's what Blue Stars touching on. That's the manager completed his first block of games, so we're in the second block now since he's taken over. That's to January, and like I said, the players have got something to prove. They want to stay in his squad. They want to be part of this. Philip, come on, renovation of the team under his tutelage. I think as you said, if we can manage to chalk off 11 of their games as wins and get a draw, I think it's on, mate. And I think it's on. And I think that also, and if we had that cup somewhere in the cabinet, again, if the squad lifts another 20-30% in confidence because they've got under their belt, again, that goes, bodes well for the season ahead. But all of a sudden, you've got the pressure on them across the city because they look over their shoulder now, wondering, and players play different last year under pressure, a lot different.
Mm-hmm. My draw's a way to bet us. I'm quite greedy. Bridgeman.
That draw way to bet is unbelievable. No, I like it. The managers. What can I say? I adore what he's doing, and obviously it's nice to see our team being far more positive on the park and being able to mount attacks. Sometimes not getting a goal, but most times we'll get the goal at the right time. But the manager's making it really, really difficult for other players not to perform. So as every player is under a microscope, and the manager's going to make sure that whatever happens, Rangers are going to have players. And obviously, we're all kind of looking forward to the sort of shutdown to see what's going to happen in the transfer window. To see if Rangers have got any money to give the manager, and who is the manager going to buy. These are the kind of things. But as we go along, just as I said, we've got 12 games, and in among those games are one or more important games than the others. We've got a cup final in among it all, and we need to win it. And if we win it, and we win these 12 games, we should be able to hold our heads up and go forward with ease. We should be able to do that.
All right, I think Blue Stars back with us. You all right there, boy?
Aye, it just went dead, mate. I agree with what the Bridging and Portnat's saying there. Absolutely. I think the cup finals are a massive thing, Ox, because it would certainly give this group of players, the mass majority of which haven't won anything. So that in itself.
Poor Blue must be having technical issues. We'll try and get him back. I'm saying that winning the cup could be a springboard. We'll get a few games before we get there, and a big European tie as well, Tuesday. Things are exciting.
This is exactly what you want in December. Maybe not quite so many matches, but you want the excitement. And European games, finals, big league games. But Blue Stars, right about what he said before he got cut off the first time. We are still playing catch up. And when you lose an Old Firm game at home, you're automatically playing catch up. And it means you've got two really difficult away games at their place where we're going to have to try and get something. And I would take a draw because it keeps it all alive. But I'd love to beat them. We've just got to keep progressing. We've got so many matches before then. You cannot even think about the last fixture of this calendar year yet. You've got to park that. There's too much to do. There's too much business to take care of.
Hopefully, he's back with us. Yes.
I don't know what's happening there. I mean, there's a classic under Bio and even under Gerrard. One of the big enigmas for us, whenever we came back for an international break, I think there was only one game that we actually came back and won. I think there was three. The last three I can think of, I think we really, really struggled to break the other teams down. But under this guy, for me, the overriding thing is, you can see right for the very first game, he's got them playing in positions. There seemed to be far, far more mobility throughout the team for me, and that was massive for me because, as you know, I've said it since even before Gio, the lack of mobility in our team for me was astounding. Whereas I've seen players here that I thought didn't even have it, i.e. Jack and Lundstrom. I think they've been playing absolutely brilliant in the middle of the park. I just wish we had two kind of younger versions of them. And if you look at that one, Ox, that goes against everything that we say. We kept talking about we needed legs in the middle of the park. None of the two of them have really got legs. And yet they've been spraying that ball about very, very well. So it shows you our manager certainly knows what he's doing, and that's massive for us because we've not had that for a long, long, long time. So whether it's Kent, I mean, for what I'm hearing, it seems to be he definitely wants Kent back on loan. That's well down the road. I was personally wouldn't have him. I think the way he treated us was abysmal. We've made him a millionaire, but that's another story. If our manager thinks he can get something out of him, then that's what he's there for. You know, so all things are looking good, providing, and it is a big if, Ox, we've got to produce funds of some kind, whether it's getting rid of players, obviously, so that he can bring in a couple of his own players. That would make all the difference for me. Honestly, I think that rejuvenates the whole squad. You know what I mean?
You know what it's like, mate, about Joanna. You never look back, mate. You've got to look forward. You know what I mean? The Kent one, I think there's just a lot of paper talk because it's international break. I think watch this space and it might go a bit quiet, if that makes any sense. You know, it's only a theory. I might be wrong. But some good stuff there, Blue Star. It's interesting. The manager's made such a change, and the engine room, Jack and Lundstrom have played well. What game was it? Was it Hearts? Was it the semi-final game in the game at Ibrox when Lundstrom done that run, Portburn? Everybody commented on it.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot more of that, you know, rather than sitting in front of that back four. And like I say, you've heard me saying this on the show, mate, and I've criticised him for it many times. Hiding in midfield, sitting in front of the back four, it's playing like a sweeper role in front of them. But you can sort of hide in games, mate. You look busy because you're running about and you're making tackles here and there, but you're really having the impact on the game. But under Clement, what I've noticed he's doing is he's playing it, 10, 20 yards further forward. He's driving the team. He's also, if he sees a gap, he's running into a gap and driving forward 20, 30 yards, 40 yards as well. Seeing edge of the box, taking shots. He's more influential in there, mate. I think he looks fitter. And I know that's mental to say that, to be obviously a pre-season under him under Beale. I think he just looks a fitter player, more confident player. So the manager's obviously, sparked something in him next year to increase his performance by about 50%, maybe even more. So no, I think if the manager just keeps doing what he's doing, and if that's the way John Lundstrom's going to play for the remainder of the season, along with other players adding, the performance as well, I think we'll be in a good place. Actually, we're not far away.
Mm-hmm. There's a problem. Just say this: John Lundstrom, in a few weeks' time, can sign for somebody else. So he's playing for his future. He's playing for either to get a contract with us or he's trying to get a move somewhere else, whatever his preference is, whatever he wants, because that's professional football. So we don't know what he's going to do. And then do you go in, if his form continues and he gets better and better, do you go in with a 2-year contract? Do you go in with a 3-year contract? It's a real enigma, do you see here?
He's not getting a 2 or 3 year contract, Ox. If he continues to play well, they'd offer him a year based on his age and his previous inconsistencies, but also recognising the fact that he's
he'll not take a year. He'd walk away and go for a 2 or 3 year deal further somewhere else, mate.
Then so be it. But
yeah,
a lot of fans are very critical over the very lengthy deal that they gave Goldson.
I'm not saying, just what people pick me up wrong, I'm not saying I would give John Lundstrom a 2 or 3 year contract. I'm being hypothetical here.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of fans were very disappointed with the length of the Goldson contract the other season, and we have become a very sentimental football club when it comes to how long some of our players are staying for, which ultimately causes issues when their form does start to drop off. And it's caused us big issues when it comes to not selling at the right time. And that's been very well documented. We don't need to go into that again. But other teams in Europe and also within our own league, sell at the right time and capitalise on hype for players. And that's a good thing. You've got to balance selling players with also keeping enough quality at the club that you can continue to move forward in general. But it's a business where you've also got to make sales to get some kind of revenue stream, because we don't make a lot from our deals domestically. So we're very reliant on player deals and obviously what we do in Europe as well. Lundstrom is a player towards the end of his career. He continues to play as he is. Got no problem with being offered another deal, but I don't think a 1 year would be terrible. Where else is he going to be able to go where he'd be able to experience European football? He wouldn't have too many options, Ox.
No European football, but he'll only be, fortunately, rightly or wrongly, Blue Star, it'll only be the amount that's on the contract. It'll be irrelevant to who he's playing against.
Well, that's the thing. It's not a thought today who they're playing against. That notion now that they're coming for Europe. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe, just maybe, certain guys, maybe the likes of Lundstrom and that, you maybe get them coming initially so they can get playing in Europe. But if it's foreigners, oh no, that's a no now. I just feel that they're basically coming for their wage. And if they're younger, they're coming to try and better themselves. Let's not kid ourselves on. They're trying to get what they think's a bigger move to get more money. That's the name of the game now. So Lundstrom, no way in a million years. He would get offered another year and possibly still keep playing the way you are. Then you'll be playing. It's up to you after that. Just the same as Jack. If Jack could prove his fitness, and according to him, he's in all the papers, and he's gave that interview to say that he wants to go to the Euros with Scotland. He knows he's only going to go there if he's playing, same as wee McCrory. So these guys know, for them to do anything, they've got to be playing, and it's up to them to show the form, and that's what the manager wants. If they're showing the form and they're staying fit, then they've got every chance. But the minute that form drops, there ain't no way they're getting 2 and 3 year contracts. It's not happening. Not at that age. Can't be done anymore.
No.
If our fingers burnt too often.
No, I get it. But it's negotiations interest. I think a rolling year or whatever. There's a lot of pluses in it, but only if I say the form continued as being hypothetical. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting, Bridgeman, isn't it? The tunes and goings.
Yeah, most assuredly, and the fans have seemed to change a wee bit, and they've taken a wee bit to Lundstrom, whereas it wasn't that long ago they were after his, they were going to hang him if he followed me. He was just looked at it, he was interested when he wanted to play, but now I think he wants to play. Looks like that anyway, and the rolling a year's rolling contract probably be an ideal solution for him. He may not want that. He might want to go away from Scotland and see if he can get back into the Premiership in England. But I don't know if he'll be able to do anything in there, but he might. But if he does get signed on, he'll be made for the rest of his career, that's for sure. But he could get a good wage with Rangers if he wants to play football. Because Rangers, particularly the fans, seem to have taken him to the heart again, and their songs are coming out for him, I don't know. Personally speaking, I said this before, I wouldn't offer any of the players that we've got any more contracts other than a rolling year, particularly ones that are, shall we say, dodgy, if you follow me, in our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And
we'll be polite, lack consistency.
Yes, indeed. And can I just say that I'm probably the only one last week when I was to talk about Ryan Kent come up, I would take him back. In a heartbeat.
All right, okay. Where would you play on, Bridge?
Left wing.
So big, just numbers. Seamus scored about more goals in a quarter of a season, and Kent scored in 2.5
years. I understand all these. The figures are there for everybody to see, and of course people will take those figures and say no. And like you've just said, no, we wouldn't want him. He's not done it. I would have him back, definitely. He's a changed man, I can tell you now. Wherever he's sitting, whatever he's doing, he'll have Rangers in his mind. I can tell you that right now, because he ain't a success wherever he is, and whatever it is he's trying to do, it's no success. And I don't even know if he's getting a game. Is it in Turkey? Is it somewhere in Turkey?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't even think he's going to get a game, and he might never get a game there. So he might be forced out, shall we say, and forced to go and do what they need to do. And they might just abandon him, just give him his contract back and away he goes. I would certainly have him on loan. If that's the loan thing that's happening, I would get him. But I don't know what he's on. But I wouldn't be paying him all his salary. Let's put it that way.
Aye. That's what Lundstrom's in the driving port. Bear people who's like that, because on the transfer fee, then the agents will be negotiating. He's worth X. We'll go with Y with the wages, and that's how the freedom of contract's so popular to the players. Porter.
Aye, Guy Bosman created that for players, mate. Matty Colton fought for it. I watched that programme the other night, actually, how it all started. Any player, and there's quite a few of them, as we know, in the last 6 months of their contracts in January. As soon as January strikes, mate, they're all free to talk to whoever they want. And if you're a club in the Championship, that's either wants to stay up, stay in the league, mid-table, even pushing for promotion, some of them players would do a job to do that, mate. So and they pay very well in the Championship, as we know. So we'll see what it brings in regards to if these guys want to, as you say, take a year extension to their current contract, and then maybe with the option of another year, and that's not a definite option. That option should be, in my opinion, if your standards and your fitness and your so many games has been made, so you can sort of prove. So we're not getting my fingers burnt again next year. I do agree with Blue Star and Bridgeman in that term, mate.
I've got a theory on the Goldstein deal. Blue Star.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon it was given out the night after the RB Leipzig semi-final when everybody had a few refreshments. That's my theory.
Aye, and they offered them it. I wouldn't be surprised.
4-year deal.
It's one of the ones, see, irrespective of whether it's a young player or an elder statesman, so to speak, in your squad. Our players have went the last number of seasons and they've not been winning. This guy's come in and he's got them on a wee bit, and it's only a wee bit here. And remember, Beale had them on a 15-game run and then a 13-game run where they had won every game. So we can't, as Wee Davy says last night, he had a point. We can't get carried away, and I know we're not getting carried away, but the guy certainly has his playing far, far better. You see the system, you see what players are playing. But the overall thing when it comes to the players and whether they're getting contracts, blah, 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 it's simple for me. Our manager has to see that the players have the hunger. And we've not seen that in the last number of seasons, Ox. You know that yourself. There's been too many times they've come out one game and then the next game you're lucky if you get half a game out of them. We've hardly had any games where we've actually ran riot for 90 minutes, even yet. So that a lot of that's down to our manager. And I'm telling you, that this guy's a proper manager. He knows who's showing hunger and who's no. And that's all pretty good for us, because there ain't no way our manager's going to present any of these guys on decent contracts if he doesn't think they're showing hunger. And I think that's been a big negative at our club the last number of seasons. I really do. I think there's been too much. Quite frankly, I think some of them have had it a bit easy, and they've not been getting pushed. And when in that, we always were told, the last 2-3 managers, they kept telling you the same thing. They wanted 2 players for every position. Ox, we've not had that. We have not had that now since we won 55, I don't think. And even then, I think a few players weren't getting pushed. So we don't have 2 players for every position. We've got certain players like number 10s, but a right back, a proper left back getting pushed with a proper left back. No, we haven't got that. So that's when the hunger comes in, because some of these guys know they're walking on that path no matter what. And we can't have that at our club. We just can't. Whether a player's playing brilliant and he's one of your superstars or no, they've got their guy in the background showing them they're busting their gut in training to make sure that they're producing every week. And I've got every confidence in this manager. I think that's exactly what he is doing. He'll know who's showing hunger and who isn't.
Aye. Just see, how much do you think the manager will judge in training, or how much it'll be judged in games?
Well, you can do really well in training, but it's what you do in the matches that count, isn't it? And stepping up and doing well in training is important because it's what gets you into the games. But it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? You do well in training and then do well in the matches, you're going to be picked repeatedly. But there's some players that we have that have gone missing. We were talking about Tillman from last season going missing in the really big matches when it really mattered. It's all very well scoring a third or a fourth when you're playing Motherwell or something like that. But when you need that one goal in a game that's really tight, that's where the players need to step up. And hopefully in training under this manager, he's going to be making the right choices, because he certainly has so far, and it's worked out. Other than one game at home to Hearts where we rode our luck a little bit to win it and we won it really late, but we got the job done. Aside from that, we've had some really good victories and positive results. And that just needs to continue.
You remember old Bobby used to come on the show who said that Tillman should never play against Celtic? I think he was right. He was right. The boy wasn't ready because the games are so unique. And I think that was a mistake of Beale's.
Yeah, of course. And that doesn't mean that Tillman, like you said, wherever he's going to end up, if it looks like it could be PSV possibly, doesn't mean that he is, like you said, he's going to have potential, and he perhaps has got really, really good potential to become a really top level player. But in the moment last season, he went missing. And in that cup game against them last season, I think he went off quite early, didn't he, with an injury. There was always something going on with him. And that's what we need to get away from now. We need players to step up in those big games. It's all very well when we're doing really well against a smaller team, but it's those small margins in Old Firm and European matches. It doesn't matter what generation of Rangers players it is, whether it's one of the best Rangers teams we've seen or one of the lesser quality ones. Going to away games in Europe or to Parkhead are the tougher games, and they always will be, because they are unique matches. And you need them to do it then on the pitch, not about just doing well in training and doing good in the drills. It's in those clutch moments, pressure moments, when players crumble. We saw McLaughlin, didn't we? Crumbling under pressure. We're already losing badly, and we can't even play the ball out properly. Those little moments. The match is obviously done by then, but that can happen at 0-0. It's about applying it at the right times, and we've got to do it in the big games.
Yeah, you're judged on the big games, but you've got to win the small games, Bridgeman, to make the big games matter.
Oh, 100%. Yes, you have to. That's where your bread and butter is. You've got to win. Okay, you've got to win every game in reality. But the smaller games, as we like to call them, that we can't stumble. But which we do. We can't stumble. We can't let them. The greatest of respect to everybody. We can't let the smaller teams, particularly come into Ibrox, and start dictating the game to us. No, it's no way. It's not right. It's just not right. And that's what got to deal with his daughters. You just can't allow that to happen. We are Rangers and we play at Ibrox, and anybody that's going to come there is going to come there with a big battle ahead of them. And of course, the bigger teams, all the way up to them across the city, when they come to Ibrox, then we know that, they know that. And if we falter in any way, they'll absolutely slaughter us. If they're up for it, they'll slaughter us. We can't afford them to be up for it, and we can't afford to stumble. And we've stumbled quite a bit this season, and we have to get rid of that. Yeah. Obviously, the manager's going to do it. I really do hope the manager's going to be as good as I think he's going to be, and I hope he's going to be, because we can't afford to stumble anyway all the way up to the game against them, and we have to get through that. And that's a big game because it's at their min, and they don't want any of our fans there at all. Although I think the Rangers are still asking for tickets. That'll be quite fun, that. So we'll see what happens there. But seriously, we need to be really 200%, if you can get that, ready for that game and give them nothing. No, not an inch. Give them nothing.
I've just clocked where I couldn't get you on the phone the other day. You must have been at that AGM. It made me laugh with something I saw. These snippets. They're nuts, but keep away from them. They'll drive you nuts. They're a different breed. Right, Blue Star. It's interesting. There's going to be a lot of comings and goings. We've got a new manager who's got a bit of momentum. The support seems to have galvanised. You know, as you rightly said, Beale had a run. But even in their runs, I don't think the football was as flowing as what we've seen at times already.
Definitely no, Hawks. Definitely no, and that's what I'm saying. That I know you're a certain vintage like myself, and we've all said, and I know you're on the show and you've got to try and dress it up a bit. That's just common sense. We don't like hammering our own team, but we can all see it. You see the cohesion. You see what they're trying to do on the park as in link up, and that's how I keep coming back to this bit about Hunger Hawks. Honestly. You hear Bridge for the last number of years, and he keeps telling us straight he wants a big 6'5" centre half killer, and he's got a point there. But I want to see that in certain positions all over the pitch. You want to see guys with that hunger. A wee Stuart McCall in there digging, a wee snarling dug at you all the time, and there that takes us back to Cantwell Logs. That's what screws us up with him. The guys out there, and that's one thing you can never fault Cantwell for. He tries his ruddy guts out every game. Just sometimes he ends up all over the park trying to do too much. And I think that's been done to last year, especially the last 6 months. Also, you've been in plenty of teams yourself. You know yourself when you think you're 1,000 times better than certain ones round about you. And you tend to maybe hang on to the ball that bit too much and you're running all over the place. I think that's what was wrong with that guy. And I think since this manager's come in, he's trying to get him to dig, to sit in a certain position, and Cantwell's finding that hard. Well, to be fair to the guy, he is a number 10. They're not getting away for that, and he's not getting played there. He's getting played out in the right or whatever. But when you see him actually sticking to a certain area, the guy's got everything you need in a player. He can put a ball through, he can hit a shot, he can score a goal, he can even dig. Just sometimes you don't want him digging. But it's still taking time with the guy. But at least one thing you can't fault Cantwell for, and certainly our manager, he'll know that about him. It's not for the one to try, and that's one thing about him. And he just wants to see that throughout the team, and we are seeing it. We are seeing it under this guy. But it's game by game, as Bridge says. It definitely is, because this next batch, more important than the ones we've already done. This is a biggie right up to Christmas. We have to win all these games.
The fixtures are mental. Brilliant. It's brilliant.
Oh,
it's
definitely.
You know.
Absolutely.
Aberdeen, and we win that. Then we've got a couple then a European tie, then a couple. It just keeps coming. It's superb. And by the way, just for the record, I wouldn't have passed the ball to Messi. Me, that's just me. Right, where are we? Right, nearly time for a tune. Are you all right, Juicy? How's the counselling going tonight, mate?
I'm feeling a lot better, thank you. Thank you.
That's good, mate.
Good.
We've achieved something.
I'll call out the new mate. Thanks for having me on. Let you get other callers in.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers. Thanks a lot, guys.
Cheers. Right now, the Blue Stars. Be on it. Well, I think it's a nap time. You have a tune, so get yourself a mute. Let's have a tune.
why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yes, we're talking about a lot of the midfield players right there. Port, we've mentioned, obviously, Cantwell, we've talked about Jack Lundstrom, how they're playing. Lammers was mentioned as well. How important is this wee guy Danilo became for us?
I think in terms of, again, a team player, I think that's one of the things the manager's done, mate. He's turned this team into a team that looked to me like they're playing for each other, fighting for each other. And the wee man up front, Danilo, mate, epitomises, the whole ethos of defending for the front. Because what he's doing is he's setting the triggers to close down the back line and try and play it for the back. So he's setting the trap. And if you look, the other four behind him then press. And a lot of times, Lammers has done it, other midfielders have done it. They've nicked the ball and managed to steal a goal. The wee man actually nicked the ball for the Prague player, if you remember right, and got his goal for that as well. So I think he's epitomising what Philip Clement wants in his teammate, to be pressing for the front and laying them traps, so that if you go and try to play at the back against us, then we're ready and waiting for you. And then obviously you've got Lundstrom and that, like I touched on, Jack, 20 yards more further forward. Just more structure to the team, mate, and they've got a style, they've got an identity finally. I was very critical of being under this. We didn't see it with identity syndrome. We lost it. We totally lost this whole, what we're supposed to be doing as a team. And that probably, as a player, I'm trying to put myself in that team. That would have probably frustrated me if I didn't understand the instruction upstairs, what I was trying to get off my manager. What are we doing here? And eventually that would breathe through the dressing room, wouldn't it? You'd be like, what's going on? Where you meant to be playing? What's we supposed to be doing here? You would just lose focus, mate. But like you touched on, we Danilo, mate, it all starts for you, man. The ethos of your team, especially the counter press and the press.
Yeah. Aye, and I mean that goal against Prague, mate, when he shot the big boy was having a bit of a mare, but he still done the hard jobs to shot him, didn't mate?
Aye, definitely, mate, definitely. I think, yeah.
But aye, he's become well, let's put it this way, he's positive attitude, juicy. He's replaced Fashion Sakala, and I didn't think that was possible.
Well, I don't think there's a single person here who didn't like Fashion Sakala in terms of his, positivity, energy. You never knew what on earth he was going to do on the pitch. He didn't even know what he was going to do next. But he had capability, didn't he, Ox? I think there's some players that we would rather he was still here over one or two others that maybe we mentioned earlier. But in terms of other players that have come in, I mean, Simo, I think, has been fantastic up there. Do you think, guys, this is just my little question back to you, Ox. Do you think we've even got the remotest chance in getting him, or do you think we've priced ourselves out? I think we possibly have.
I think if he's a good back end of the year and we're still playing in Europe, mate, people eyebrows will be raised, and the Brighton have won the Mixed Development in Port. They'll say it's been a success. We'll want them back. If somebody wants them, it might cost you more money than what they've done last season, unless the boy gets the bug and that he wants to move to us. But I'm not that naive to think it always pans out like that. Port.
I think they valued him before he came, mate, at £8 million. And I think round about that fee, I thought even maybe that would be beyond his. He's come up here and his career was sort of, flaying, mate. It was just that he didn't know where he was going. He joined the Premier League, Brighton, who he thought maybe he could get into that team, and it never worked out. And under De Zerbi, the new manager, he's clearly not part of his plans at the moment. But like you said, he's put him out to develop him. There's no doubt De Zerbi will have a look at him, mate. And his form under Clement, and to be fair, he's probably the best player of this season so far, even under the Beale Clement era, if I'm really honest. he has looked good, mate. He guys looked a level above where I thought he was going to end up. I thought he was going to come up, and it looked to me like he was going to be, not successful. But he has been outstanding, mate. He's got pace. He works. I mean, Borna must be so happy having him in front of him, or even Ridvan, no matter who's there. He works his backside off, mate. He chases every ball. He works. He offers you that pace in behind for that ball in behind. He offers the team a lot, Oxshire. And just to add to Juicy's question, we've got Abby Matondo coming back, who is playing well on that side. Is this a chance to switch Seema to the right, or is Seema and Matondo better off the left? How do we fit the two of them with that pace into that team, guys?
Well, I think Matondo he's an impact player with that pace, mate. You bring him on with half an hour to go. It's hard to deal with, but it's interesting, mate. Bridgeman, big Seema, mate. I think he's got a great attitude.
Oh, he's proved. Excuse me. After about a month, he's proved that he's a better quality than a lot of the other guys that we got in. And I have to say, let's just listen to Port there. I wouldn't have rated him as an £8 million player based on what I've seen. But he's certainly come on. He's doing some great stuff when he's on. And yeah, he works for the team a lot more than a lot of other players do. However, they've still got a wee bit of mistiming, bumping into players, that kind of thing. But he's there, he's trying all the time, everything he can, because it must mean something to him. Maybe he's trying to prove something to Brighton, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to prove something to Rangers. He wants to stay here. I don't know. But he's certainly a better player than Dessers and what's the other boy's name? I can't remember his name. The bad duo. Not that it matters. As far as I'm concerned, Seema's been a hit for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Danilo has been a bigger hit than all of them. I think he's a quality player. He looks like it, and I know sometimes he's doing his shooting boots on. Well, that happens with everybody. But seriously, he's put some great goals in. Fantastic, and he's a great.
Between them, they've scored some different types of goals, Port, haven't they? Port, Juicy, they've scored some different types of goals. Dessers, Danilo and Seema.
Yes, they have, and it's nice to see that variety in the forward line, because something that we were really lacking, wasn't it? Goals from the forward line. But Danilo's big and strong, and the guy's got height on him, and he's fearless as well. We saw him get badly injured from scoring a header, but the guy is got no fear, and he's got that quality as well. And Seema, although he's not a permanent Rangers player, he's doing the business and he's working hard. On the subject of Seema, if I may, just to continue, I think the key to signing Seema, if he continues to play well, is probably going to depend on what we do with the other players that we have in terms of our saleable assets. And I think the biggest one of those is probably what we do with Hadji. If we move Hadji on, by all accounts, he's doing quite well in Spain. That will probably be the key to whether or not we can get the money together to purchase Seema.
Yeah, Hadji's an asset, and obviously he's been out on loan and he's back in the international scene and he scored the goal with qualified Romania for the European Championship. So he's listen. I think Hadji's biggest problem was his lack of pace, and he done sometimes what we talked about Tillman. He would disappear in certain games, but you could never question the boy's ability because he was developing, and then they get that bad injury. But anyway.
In Spain, he gets the time though. He gets the time ox on the ball in Spain, and he didn't get that so much in our league, which is where the lack of pace, did hinder him. But from a technical point of view, he's an outstanding player technically. But I think the reality is, and a lot of fans would love to have him back at the club, especially when we were doing so poorly under Beale. But his ability and the way he plays is probably more suited to that La Liga style.
It's an asset for us. Port, you're a fan, aren't you?
I've liked the boy since the minute we signed him, mate. And it wasn't just because of the name. You know, a lot of people, you know, were wowed by the name and his fella. You know, obviously know how good his dad was. But for a young age, when he came into your team, and he came for it, you know, a Romanian second division team. You know, he wasn't really playing for a top team in Romania at the time when he was over there. He had a spell at Fiorentina when he was very young as well. You know, when he was that's when he sort of started his career. But for the minute he came into Rangers, mate, the two fittedness. I've still never seen a player that's so strong with their 2 feet as Giannis Hagi. And I told you the last time we were on the show, I have seen a couple of his games in the Liga. And like Jussie said, as the game suits him to a T, it's slower. You know, he gets a lot more time in the ball, he gets to lift his feet, he's picking out passes, he's scored goals. He missed a game I watched, he missed a penalty, poorly. But I watched him during the week as well for Romania, and he scored against Andorra, and he scored again, as you said, the goal that qualified him. And let me tell you, he bossed that game, the one that qualified. He look, everyone was going through him. Absolutely, everyone was going through him, mate. I just think we're unfortunate with playing a league this style with that doesn't suit Giannis Hagi, and unfortunately, we're not going to see the best Giannis Hagi in the Rangers team. But as you said, he's a saleable asset. He's got a name behind him, and he might not go to Alaves. I think.
Oh, no chance. No chance.
Yeah, the quality he's shown in that league, mate, he'll go somewhere bigger than Alaves. I mean, Germany would suit him, mate. I believe that as well. Germany would suit him.
Turkey as well,
yeah,
mate. He's massive.
Well, yeah. Galatasaray, he's massive there. Oh God, yeah. So yeah, we've got an asset in, mate, 100%. And in Turkey, like you're saying, people sell shirts in Galatasaray.
Aye, he's a marketable young man, isn't he? I like that one. Remember he brought all the stuff in and put it on the lockers to line them up. Oh, his merchandise deal. I like that one. I found that quite funny.
Yeah.
You know. But I will see where that goes. I get your point. Just a good point you moved there and maybe. But I don't know. I think the SEMA one, Brighton have got a track record, mate. At the moment, the last few years of bringing players in development, putting them on loan, bringing them back into their club, and selling them with somebody ends up lowering them in the league for fortunes.
Yeah, it's a really, really good model, and when you put that with the fact that they've got that excellent revenue that comes from being in the Premier League with the media, and the fact that they're now very much established Premier League club competing in the same tournament as we are in Europe, and their player modelling detail that they have in terms of their methodology for selling players on quickly for big money is excellent. And I think that's something that we need to pay attention to, because we could have Hagi back and he'd do quite well as he has done before. You've got to remember how many assists the guy got in our season that we won the League Ox. But is it the best for him as a player? Is he going to develop to the level that he wants to? And is he going to actually become as good a player in the SPFL as he might do in La Liga? And, you know, that's for him and his family to decide. But for us, we can make some real good money off this kid. And that's how we need to continue to develop this club. We need to be looking at players like McCausland and signing him up to a long-term deal. Those are the important things now for me.
Really glad you mentioned him. Once again, Mr. Fox comes in with some words of wisdom. But what John McCausland got that game time if he wasn't near the end of his contract? Am I mischief making that?
No, I'm going to be positive, mate, and I'm going to say, because your manager's, you know, history developing young players at other clubs, I just think he's seen, you know, Albert Southside's talked about they've been watching some of the young youth games, and they've been talking about this boy for months. So, and it's not been a doubt. We've read about him. We know how good McCausland's been. So I'm going to put a positive spin on it and say, mate, no, I think it's just the timing. You've mentioned it a million times on the show. Sometimes the timing has to be right, and we were struggling on that right hand side. He isn't getting to the final months of his contract, and I think the timing's been perfect for him, mate. And I think he's taken it and grabbed it with both hands, became a fully international player during the break as well. So congratulations on the wee man for that. And you were comparing Tillman earlier on to Cartmel. I think young McCausland, mate, I'm going to throw it there. I think young McCausland's excited me probably as much as Tillman did when he first came in, for what I saw in the games. He's, played his cameos and the game he started, mate. I'm very excited about young McCausland.
All right, Perch.
Yeah, I think young McCausland's got a tremendous future ahead of him. If we can grab him, get him signed up for a sort of long enough contract, we'll be doing very, very well. You were mentioning Hadji earlier on. I would do everything the utmost to sell Hadji. I would do my utmost to sell him because he is far more useful in the continent. He's a continental type player. He came alive in European games for us. And that's his forte, playing against the continental players. I'm sure of it. And if we could, I'm not saying we will, we could get maximum money for him, then that'd be fabulous, just utterly fabulous. Because the rough and tumble of the league here, playing in the league, is a bit heavy for a lot of players, and I think it's a wee bit heavy for that boy Hadji. But the European games, most assuredly, he always comes alive. Super, but we don't want him in the team that's not going to handle all the rest of the games, The boy McCausland, obviously, if we can get him signed up, sign him up for a long time, and then get the money's worth out of him, get the money's worth out of him in the transfer market. We need to do that. We need to be ruthless and get the money.
Aye. Ultimately, I want the manager to have the final decision point, but what I will say to the people listening, well, would you keep Yanis Hadji or would you sell him? And if you did sell him, what would the price be? So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
That question is a good sell point.
I think sky's the limit with this kid. I think I'm not being greedy here. I think between 8 and 10 I'd be asking for. Cause I still think he's that good, mate. I really do.
Juicy.
Yeah, I agree with Paul. I think hopefully to the latter end of that port, so maybe 10 million, maybe a little bit more than that. You got to remember there's a tax for being in the SPFL, so we're not going to see as much as if he was in another top 5 league in Europe, and I'm afraid that's just the reality, guys. But we would definitely sell for 8 to 10 million, and I would fully endorse that.
No, 8 to 10. I mean, in reality, unfortunately, he's not really kicked a ball for nearly 2 years. My first team, really unlucky. Cup tie, I can't remember who it was against. I think it was against a lower league team. Banging in the knee, he thought it was nothing. And the next minute he's out for 18 months. What?
I know, mate. I definitely understand that. But as I said, what I've seen him, and one of the games I watched against Barcelona, mate, and I tell you, he didn't look out of place playing against them. He didn't. He actually looked to me, and I know don't go overexcited here. He looked to me like he could have played the Barcelona team, mate, and he wouldn't have looked out of place. He did a lot of young boys playing for him as well, Gavi and Pedri and stuff, and he just looked to me as technically sound as they did. That's what I'm getting at here. He looked technically, on the level with these young Barcelona boys. So that's why I'm saying that if he keeps that form up to the end of the season, eyes are on him already. Eyes are on him, and his international performances. If he keeps that up, I think you can ask what you like, mate, and you're hoping for a bit more, obviously.
He is marketable. Give him that, you know what I mean? You never get out of place. And,
nah.
He knows what he's doing. He's always well turned out. He get the Scott Wright Award, wouldn't he?
Scott Wright's not done anything for Pepsi yet, mate. Yanis Hadji has.
Aye. That's true, mate.
Gillette as well.
I think.
And all that.
I think Scott's the right agent's looking at Alpine, mate.
And big disposable razor.
Oh, I'm only kidding, Scott. I'm only kidding. He knows it. I want him to do well. Right, okay. Aye. 8 to 10 million, Hadji. Do you see that happen? What?
What's your thinking?
Oh, mate, you know my thinking. There was times when I would have drove him to the airport, but,
I don't think we're going to get £10 million for Hadji. Sorry, I don't see it. But, as I said earlier, just take as much as you can get. Whatever you can get, take it. Seriously.
Aye. Listen, we gave him a new contract just to protect the assets, so that makes sense. So if we got 6, and he was happy, I'd be happy. But if we got your 8 to 10, I'd be delighted. Just,
I think, Bridge, if you look at the boy's form recently in a top European league and for his national team, we're definitely looking at the most we could get for him than we have done since he's been with us. As Ox said, he's barely kicked a ball for us in the last 2 years. This would be a lovely deal, and I think Rangers would sell for 6 million. You're right, Bridge. But we might have a chance of getting higher than that based on the form in recent months. And you've got to try. God loves a try.
It's the old saying, Bruce, saying it, we've got to market. I think we've got to be more ruthless when we're marketing our players. Don't undersell them. It's like young McCausland now. He's an international player, full international, like Hadji is. They're creators in games. If you look at Giannis's record before, like you touched on all his assists and his goals ratio, and it's pretty good. So I just think Rangers need to stop, in my opinion, underselling their assets and their players, because I think we need to be ruthless in these markets now and just say, no, this is what we're wanting. At the end of the day, as you say, no, they're protecting their asset by offering them another contract and extension to it. So they must hopefully have in mind that they're going to maximise the best they get out of Giannis Hadji, and I think that's why the reason they were setting out on loan. Did I agree with the loan at the time? No, I didn't. But it looks as if it might work out for the benefit now of Rangers. So it looks like a good idea now because he's playing well.
do you think Hadji fell out with Michael Beale?
I think that's an absolute 100% fact, mate. Yep. Because he was vocal, wasn't he? He was vocal in that press conference here. Mm-hmm. He basically outed the manager. So, and I think that's very brave of a player to do. And see, at the time, I agreed with him. I agreed with him. I fully agreed with him, mate. Should he have done it? No, he shouldn't have. Not in that format, but he did, and fair play to him.
Okay. Right, so we've got Hadji, we've got Cantwell. Where do we fit in Tom Lawrence? Juicy bear.
And isn't that a lovely problem to have, Ox? Again, all of these more than decent number 10 players, at least how I view them as number 10s. Some managers seem to keep playing on the right wing. But Lawrence, a player who seems to be continuously trying to come back from injury, now he looks like he is back. He just needs some more sustained runs. In the appearances that he's made, I think he's done okay. Some good passing, some good balls. It was his ball, wasn't it, to Dessers for the goal? Yep. Dessers almost messed up, bless him. But you got to admire the run. He did move well for that ball. We know Lawrence is a player, and we saw that in the half a dozen matches he played before his really bad injury, and how excellent he was in Eindhoven in the 1-0 win. So we know there's a player there, Ox. How do we fit these guys in? I'm not too concerned about that, Ox, because we've got so many matches to play. We're going to need this squad. So he'll get plenty of opportunity as far as I'm concerned, my friend.
Portland Bridge?
Yeah, I have to agree with it. With the amount of tournaments that Rangers are involved in, competitions, cups, matches, plenty of matches to play, I think we need this what's in our squad, mate, and I think it's good to have headaches like, say for talks like Hadji does come back, so you got Catmull, Hadji, Lawrence, Lammers, who all sort of are vying for that one position. Do we need four? Probably not, but I was like you out of that game against the one we keyed Lawrence man of the match because his first 45 alone, he was outstanding, created the goal for Dessers, like we said, he really bossed it, had that front press, he was really good, mate, and but he showed consistency at Derby when they played down in the Championship for all them years, and he was seen as a good player, came from Man United as a youth player, so his stock's good, you know what I mean, in regards to footballing terms. I think John Lawrence a cracker, mate, but I think you're right. I think we've got quite a conundrum trying to keep the players. I think it's the happiness, mate. It's the togetherness. How do you keep them happy when they want to play, especially when he gets fully fit? Because he'll have seen himself as a first teamer, mate.
Aye. But then you have natural rotation with injury, suspension, loss of form. How's one on the guys? Only Ken Dodd that worries about happiness, isn't it?
Yeah, worry about happiness. Yeah. I think the boys are talking a lot of sense. I agree with everything that they've said. Some of your players that are supposed to be coming back to injury, but are they? And wouldn't it be great if they were all injury free now and managed to get into the squad properly and be available for selection? The manager has a nice headache to work with. But seriously, there's some of our players we haven't seen the best of them. The boy Lawrence, what a tragedy. The amount of injuries he's received, what a tragedy. We've not seen the best of him, I'm sure. And we just need to see it. And we spoke about Hadji earlier on. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think we'll see Hadji again, personally speaking. There's a number of players there that we could let go. Maybe have to, I don't know. For instance, Dessers, I don't think you'll get any money for Dessers. He's playing. I just don't think so. You can go and say he's a Premier League player, even if he wins a League Cup. It's not going to happen. I just don't see anybody being interested in him. The publicity for that boy has been dreadful. But for the club and our manager, it's been a lot better of late since the manager came in. So it depends on what the manager does and how he manages to manage these players. All I was doing was just sort of laying the scene. Some players we've got we might not still have in January.
Yeah, potential for that. So, anyway, you got the bugger again. We've been joined by the one and only Spanish Billy.
Good evening, gentlemen. How's it going?
All right, mate.
You're back with a vengeance. We've missed you 2 nights in a row, Billy boy.
Aye, no, it was last night. I didn't really talk much about any football. It was just I've been just totally buzzing, so I was just rambling on last night. It was just pure excitement and passion about
it's allowed. Game. It's allowed with counselling the night for Juicy. You've been emotional last night. It's all allowed on here. We don't charge any extra.
No, I hope not, because I might have fortune scouting the country for vegetable roll for Big Stevie for the drum.
I was speaking to him today, and I can assure you that every conversation you have with him, food appears in it somewhere.
It's all right. If the young boys ask him where the best pies are, I'll be sure to inquire with Big Stevie.
Oh, yes. What's on your mind football-wise, Billy?
Well, excluding last night, it's been a very long time since I've called in, so I haven't really spoke about Clermont and stuff, and obviously under Michael Bell, I felt there was no sense of direction. We were lacking what I would class basic children's football and philosophies and all those fundamental things, all those fundamental skills, pass and move, being in possession and all that there. And right from the very, very beginning, since Clermont's come in, we've seen purpose. We're if our players aren't fast, they're at least moving the ball quickly. We're passing forward. The players know where to be, when to be there, and we've got an endeavour about us now. Just all those basic things that we're lacking have just instantaneously just been reinstalled again, and the players look happy. And just he's a class act. When you listen to him speak, you know he's never going to let his players get too high or like get too low. He's always going to make sure they're grounded, and he's come out with some fantastic quotes that reiterate that, and I think it's just been brilliant. We've been burnt a lot. We've put our trust in a lot of people, so I'm trying not to get too excited, and I'll reserve judgment until we get the cup final by us and our visit to the piggery, and then I'll really see what I think. But I'm quietly confident, and I'm very, very intrigued to see. I know January is a very difficult window, but I'm very, very intrigued and excited to see what type of player Clement would like to bring in. I'm very intrigued and looking forward to that, and I just hope he gets adequate backing to do so.
Port Bear.
Well said, Billy. Good to have you on again, my man. Just a wee question back to you, mate. Where in the team do you think our manager has to strengthen first?
A couple of places. I think primarily we need a striker, because as great as Ruth is, he's not reliable, and we can't rely on just Danilo. Plus the thing with Danilo is, I love the fact that if he misses, he keeps trying and he keeps trying. But there's two ways to look at that, right? You know he's going to get us a goal, but when you play for a club the magnitude of Rangers, there's certain games where we're only going to get 2 chances or 3 chances, and you need to be able to take them. Hopefully over time, he'll be able to improve that ratio, but at the minute he's still missing too many. So if Danilo's not available, who do we really have? Unless we play Sima straight through the middle. So I do think we need another striker in. We need a right winger. We've not had anybody since Candeas. We've seen it for the last number of years. We've been pushing people out into the right. We've done it with Arebo. We've done it with Ruth. We've done it with Hadji. We've always been pushing people out to the right. So I think we need a striker and a right winger. And I would like to see. I'm not saying it's a primary need, but I would really like to see a central midfielder with a real presence. I know that Lundstrom's been playing a hell of a lot better under Clement, but I think we need someone that naturally has that command and presence in the middle of the park.
That right side, would you look at the boy McCausland, one of your fellow countrymen? Could he play and fill that gap?
See, the thing about young Ross, he would play anywhere you asked him to, and he wouldn't complain about it, and he would play for free. He just wants to play for
You better watch, mate. James Bisgrove listens. You better watch.
I'm an Ulster man. I don't really care. I'll just say what I think. But no, I think he definitely could. But he can also sort of play in a number of attacking positions.
Yep.
We've got so many people in the.
Albert thinks he's a number 10, Billy. He thinks he's a number 10, but he's got to learn his trade and he's young, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about youth, and it helps if you're eager, and it also helps if you support the team, because you'll be more liable to do what's asked of you and play anywhere. But that's the thing, we have a couple of players that are more suited to naturally playing a number 10, but you can't play them all there. I'd like to see him sort of play more central and in behind, but he's definitely an option for that right wing. But I would still bring in an experienced right winger that can instantly come in and play there right away without needing any time, development or anything like that there, especially because Clement's very, very heavy on rotation and involving everybody, so he's going to want to utilise the squad. Like we've had managers in recent times that have spoke a lot about utilising the squad and stuff and haven't really done so, but I genuinely believe that Clement will do so.
All right. Experienced right winger, there's only one springs to mind, Port. Nigel Farage.
Farage, eh? 25%. You take me once.
Sorry, that was a bad joke. That was a bad joke.
Very good, Oxford. That was quite good, actually. Quite right. Very good.
Sorry, that was a badging. Right, I can't believe I mentioned that guy, but there you go. Right, where are we? Good points, Billy. But McCausland, he could be that guy, learn his trade, become the number 10. He moves. I know he's no young. He's nearly 20, and but he might have something about him, and I wish him all the best in his career. I think these guys, the ones that are raised just now, Lawrence, Cantwell, I think in the way these games are going to come, they will get their shot. Port Bear, Enbridge, they will get their shot.
I totally agree. I think there's far too many games in a short period of time to rely on 11 guys. I think the game's moved that forward now, mate, and I think under the current manager as well, I think he expects a lot of effort out of our team. You see where we pressed now, we're forward line, I say Taylor on, you've got Seamer chasing down, you've got Lammers pressing, you've got Danilo pressing, and whoever's on the right, McCausland, when he's been pressing. You've also got Seamer going back, helping Borna, and McCausland or whoever's been on that right side doing the same again. So I think the game's moved on that much, and especially when they come on to Ibrox, it's maybe a 15 or a 16 man squad now, mate. So I think that's what will have to happen. I think you go, pardon my pun, but balls to the wall for 60 minutes for the starting team. And then I think they'll be that tired, mate, we'll have to change it. I think that's the sort of style of football that Clement eventually wants to get to, where the team plays flat out, you know, and really presses teams and wins ball attention's quick. You know, the team's all working for each other. And then, as you said, they'll bring on guys like Lawrence and Matondo, impact player. Dessers might improve. Lammers might improve in that role as well, mate. So I think that's the way football's moved on, mate, and especially the way we say we play.
Do you say then, Bridge?
And we're really going to see this in the next few matches now, aren't we? You know, that intensity. And it's the perfect match in some ways, although it's perhaps not the match that everyone would handpick as our first match back. But we need to see a difference, because the last time out against the Sheep, it was a very, very poor performance indeed, losing at home the way we did Bill's last game. And we know they're going to be absolutely rampant to want to beat us again. But we need to play with that intensity that he's starting to build at this club, and then that we've seen in some of those last few matches. We know if we can bring that, we will beat the Sheep, and we'll be having roast lamb for dinner, and it will be lovely jubbly. So they've just got to bring that to that match, and that they need to play with a level that pushes that ball forward. Because if we sit back against them like we did at Ibrox, we will struggle again.
Different manager. Bridgeman, the boys will all get their chance. There's a lot of games coming thick and fast.
Yeah, that's what we desperately hope for. We want them to get their chance as much as possible, and I'm sure the manager's sitting waiting to see how these guys have obviously get through the break, and he must have a number of them that he would love to put in and where to put them. A good idea, but he'd like to try, and I'm desperately keen to see what he's doing and what the progress is of these young lads that are coming in. And because really and truly, they're a revelation, and it's really great. I do hope we get the young boy McCausland now. I'd love them to sign him long contract. The other boys, well, some of them we know have been good players, but they've had very, very bad luck with the injuries. So the manager needs to bring that through. But really and truly, as far as I'm concerned, the manager can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned up to now. And I'm sure I've got massive trust in him, and I hope to see when we play Aberdeen on Sunday that we're going to beat them. That's what I want to see, beat them and beat them well.
Just quickly before I go back to your Spanish Billy, I think there's times for Ibrox where Cantwell and Lawrence should be on the park starting. I don't think we need two sitters against certain teams at Ibrox, but that's just me.
I agree.
Yeah, I think we need to get our football players on the park. But it's interesting. Anyway, we've been joined by a guy who always knows about football, with the bad himself. Bob J. Evening, Bob J.
Hi lads, how you doing?
Hi mate, yourself?
All right, I was listening about the show there. You're talking about the squad. You're talking about Hadji. I reckon if we get 2.5 for him, we'll be lucky. To be honest with you. A lot of ability, but no pace. And the game, a lot of the accent in the game now is pace. I'm afraid with Giannis, he's no blessed with that. So
I'll put Juicy on. Juicy Bear.
Well, I think looking at how he's done recently, Bob J, and this is only from what I've seen because I do follow quite a bit of La Liga. He's looked good in that last side, and they're not a top team in the league, but they're by all means reasonable.
Alaves.
Yes, but what he is getting, Bob J, he's getting that time on the ball that he doesn't get in the SPFL. So the pace is less of an issue. The pace is less of an issue. In our league, where you're getting bumped off the ball when it's hammer throwers United that we're playing every other week, it doesn't suit some players. And we know that it's not as good as a technical league, but it certainly is physical. And it's not for every player in the same way that some of our players wouldn't be able to cope in La Liga. And he's in. It's also bigger. It's a bigger profile. It's a bigger profile league in terms of, the number of viewers watching it and the likes. And when you look at Hadji's commercial deals that we mentioned earlier, he's a big name player, certainly in his country and in other countries because of his heritage. I think there is some money to be made there. I'd be very disappointed if it was only a couple of mil. But we've got to look at him as being a saleable asset. I don't think there's a big future for him at this club. We've got to look at selling him for good money. And I'm going to say that he's going to go for more than that, Bob J. I'm not going to go crazy on it.
Well, that's only my opinion, Juicy.
Of course, my friend.
We're lucky we got a couple. I mean, if they get more for the boy, good.
Yes, you'd be pleased, of course. I think we all would. And I'm hopeful only because of what we've seen performance-wise from him recently and for his national team. If he wasn't doing anything and he wasn't starting, then I wouldn't disagree with you at all. I think, you'd just be trying to get what you could for him, especially when you consider he'd been out for so long. But I think we've got a real opportunity here to cash in on an asset.
Mm-hmm. Spanish Billy.
Well, the thing about Hadji is he was previously a big asset for us. Obviously, that's dwindled a lot due to what you have mentioned. So I'd say just let him finish out the duration of his loan. Let him continue to get regular football and hopefully get his value in the stock back up again. He is a brand within himself, the name Hadji. So regardless of how he's playing, there will be some sellability there with his name alone, but I definitely think let him try and get the value back up again. Then when he comes back, let Clement have a look at him, and if he's not in Clement's plans, I would be looking to move him on and cash in on him. He's been with us for a long time. He's shown glimpses, but ultimately he's never truly capitalised on it. And we can't just keep being romantic and wanting to hold on players purely because of glimpses or purely because of potential. Personally, I would take the money and sell.
Open the box, take the money. Port Bear, the manager will know already, won't he? He'll know.
Oh, 100%. He'll know, but he's probably known for his time in Genk as well. When Hadji was there, just where we bought him from. So he's probably aware of him. I don't doubt that for a minute. So, and he'll have his team watching the Alaves games like some Rangers fans probably keeping a wee eye. I've been doing, Juicy's been taking a wee eye and seeing what's happening, how he's developing. Remember that Alaves get promoted this year to that league, La Liga. So they were a team coming up for a lower division into the big division, and Hadji's held his own, and Alaves are actually holding their own as a team as well. They're doing pretty alright. That's how I said I don't think for a minute he'll end up at Alaves full time. If anything, he could end up maybe a club in the top, sort of mid to top range. And at Spain, if he wanted to go there, if that's for the other players, other teams, Oxford will have their eye on him. I don't do that for a minute. But is he worth a look for Clermont? I think he's always worth a look. But like I said earlier, I'm not going to contradict myself. I just don't think Yanis Hadji is made for real league, mate. It's helped him in his development, playing against rough and ready, men, as the boys were saying earlier on, the hammer throwers. It's helped him in his development, but it's not helped his development for it to further his career in Scottish football. But I still reckon we'll make good money off him, mate.
Mm-hmm. I think we'll beat a Rangers Radio record tonight, Bridgeman.
Why is that?
I think it's the longest we've had a show that James Tavernier's never been mentioned.
Oh, till now.
Aye.
Oh, well.
It's
That's
true.
a good point. Of course, we know that Tavernier, one of the chaps, is going to be. He's going to see his contract out by the look of it. Yeah, he's got the contract to actually ready to retire.
2 years ago, wasn't he?
Yeah.
2 years this summer.
So you don't think you're going to get, if you try to, you might not get any money for Tavernier. You just need to let him go on his contract. That's the straight, or keep him because he is a superb penalty taker for us.
Mm-hmm. No, I wasn't saying about his contract or that. I just think it's very unusual in here that he's not mentioned. Juicy?
Well, I think all of your defence haven't really been mentioned, with the exception of Yidvan or
Yeah, we talked about it, but Tavernier particularly. We've not even mentioned Buckland, which is unusual. I know the way this season's went. But it just shows you how the debates went. Juicy, isn't it?
Well, it's also good to see that we're talking about players who are coming back from injury and that situation's easing a little bit. But with regard to Tavernier, we can always keep improving. Tav definitely needs to improve on his 50% penalty success rate in the last 2 matches. There's work to be done, my friend. You can't take away his abilities though, just because he's missed a couple. But the guy is always going to be one for opinion amongst the fan base, and but no one can discount the goals that he scored for this club. And he's still stepping up and taking those pens. No one minds if he misses the odd one, provided he still does the business and scores later in the game with the second penalty. As long as the refs are still giving them to us with their blue tinted glasses on, I'll take that every day.
Yeah. Might be mentioned at somebody's AGM, but Bridge will give a report. Bob Jer, we're in a good place. We just have to keep going and just get 1 result, 2 results, and we'll be busting, ready to bust, yeah? Keep it going for the Rangers, to coin a phrase, yeah? Oh, I don't know. Bob Jer's heard me. Bob Jer, we need to keep
Hello, was it me your question there, Ox? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we need to keep this good run going, mate.
Well, have to keep it going, especially this lot on Sunday. You wait and see their attitude. I keep saying it, but I think we'll beat them on Sunday. I do. And that's still been a biased Rangers fan. I really think we'll beat them on Sunday because they're nothing great. Aye, keep it going, keep it onwards and upwards, keep getting better. Let this man develop the squad. He's only in the door. How many games is that he's had now? 7. He's only in the door. And we'll have to wait and see how he changes things in January. January's never a good time for transfer, but we'll wait till the summer. Well, January in the summer to see what develops with the squad. I've got high hopes for him, definitely. I think he's a good manager, and we're going to do all right under this man. That's for me. We're still blinded optimism. I think we're going to do really well under him. I keep it going. I can't wait to get going on Sunday like the rest of you. This international horse, and I'll not say the other word. So
I never seen you as a Frank Sinatra man, Bob J, with high hopes.
You never what?
I never seen you as a Frank Sinatra man with high hopes.
High hopes? I've always got high hopes for the Bears, Oaks. You can that.
Bridgeman.
High hopes for me, I'm being as I get older. But why would we got high hopes for the Rangers? Always. As I said the other night, we need to be a wee bit more consistently successful. We need trophies. We've got to start getting them now, immediately. I've got a chance of one in a couple of weeks. Let's grab it with both hands. That's the game and the trophy.
I've got a lot of football to play before we get there. The 17th of
Oh,
December.
aye.
It's not that far away, but it's a lot of games. Port Bearer.
Aye, and I'm not looking too far ahead, mate. I'm currently just chalking them off one at a time. Move on to the next one. Plan, get the team rested. Move on to the next one. Because like you, I believe the run's important for now to January. I think it has to be positive, and this we have to keep on this run that the manager started. Because like Bob just said, I think we've got a right good man in charge of a club, and I think we've got a right good coach as well. I think he's brought that pride and that discipline back to the Rangers in that dressing room. I think he's brought the X factor back to the actual club stature. That's the way I hold him. I hold him and very highly to the further development of the club and the squad. I just think he's done so much in 7 games. I just can't believe what he's achieved in 7 games for a team that I thought were on their knees and needed major resurgery.
Mm-hmm. Well, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening. Last word for your good self, Bob J.
Thanks for having me on again, lads. Thank God it's Friday tomorrow. And we're one day nearer the game on Sunday. I can't wait to see the Jers run out the tunnel on Sunday and do the business up there. All right, so I'll say good night to you all, and I'll probably hear from you tomorrow.
Cheers, Bob J. Spanish Billy.
Yep, let's just start as we mean to go on from the first whistle and just keep at it and make sure we get it done, keep the momentum going, and thanks once again for welcoming me back onto the show.
How are you going to explain to your boy when everybody calls you Spanish Billy?
Oh, he knows. It's my dad I'm going to have to explain it to. You're no Spanish, you're an Ulster man, so I'm going to have to explain it to my dad. But my son knows the story already.
Sorry,
especially after last night. I said 3 generations of Spanish Billy.
Oh, brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Good to hear from you again. Juicy Dale.
Thanks for the international therapy session tonight, Ox. I'm feeling a lot better now. And it's back to being all about the Jers. Let's roast some sheep on Sunday. And then we can go for some Cypriot kebab on Thursday night next week. Lovely jubbly.
Port Bear.
I'm just going to add exactly what Juicy said, only I'm going to add my usual, mate, a wee bit of gravy. So I think it'll be interesting to watch a game. I think it'll be a good game, mate. I'm looking forward to it. I think Rangers will win the game. A wee sort of practice match to the final as well. So let's go and put a marker down and show them that we're miles ahead of them, mate. Put them to the sword.
And I can just, because we got up the chat tonight, I forgot. One Bears, it's still the last man standing there. Young GB's doing a great job. Get in contact. at rangersradio@gmail.com or through the Facebook page. GB will get back to you. It's a rollover. £5 if you were in the last draw to keep going, or £10 to get involved because it's a rollover, because we're that good at putting football results on here. Bridgeman, over to you.
Oh, what can I say? What a smashing night tonight, Oxchair. Magic chats. Nice to hear everybody's voices. And a big welcome back to Billy Boy. To Spanish Billy, what a name. And I say to yourself and your technical team, thank you very much. And to the guys that looked after me tonight, I'm really happy for their support and so on and so forth. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, everybody, please, huge game, biggest game of the season, come up on Sunday. Everybody roll the team on. We are the people. Keep it going for the Rangers, everybody. Keep it going.
And I thank Blue Star, Bob Chair, Spanish Billy, for all joining us on the show. Absolute pleasure to hear from them all. Can I thank Juicy Bear, Port Bear and Bridgeman for doing the show, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals, everybody for listening. Don't forget about Last Bear Standing. And remember, we'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers as we build up to a Rangers victory. I'll be able to take it away, Old School Blue.